Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to My Chemical Romance. Welcome back, peeps. As discussed in the previous couple of listens we did, I was going to listen to a one-off by New World Record by Electric Light Orchestra as a one-off video, and then I'll be covering My Chemical Romance, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're going to start all the way with I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love, and we're going to make our way all the way up to Danger Days, and we're going to stop there. I should probably maybe look at the singles released after Danger Days, but I don't think I'm going to do that because I just can't be asked, and it depends how much I enjoy this, because I won't lie to you, I'm not massive on the emo scene, and I never was. I think for me, it's quite a complex one, because I enjoy a few, I still enjoy a few emo songs. I had that Offspring stint like a lot of people did. 3 Days Grace was my introduction to the genre as a whole, and I enjoy them to bits. But bands like Sum 41 and Blink-182, MCR, they never clicked with me. And that's why I want to do this, because I know a lot of people around me adore this band, and they adore everything about them, but I've just never saw the appeal. Don't get me wrong, alternative clubbing is like the hotspot for learning new things about different bands, and that's sort of where my appreciation for some of their music has come from. But those songs are mainly from Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge. I've never heard a single song off of this album. Now, I did go to a tribute act for this band in the last couple of months, but I'm probably not going to remember any of the songs that they did other than the ones I already know, and that's a problem. So that's another reason why I wanted to be here. Not only was I asked or requested to do this, but I always thought, you know what, I want to see what the hype was about around this band. I got the hype with Slipknot and I got the hype with Linkin Park, but I never got the hype with this one. So why not? Let's do it. Now, this album, for a first album, has a shit ton of streams on a lot of their songs. Like, not many first albums from a lot of bands can do these kind of numbers. Only the biggest bands get these kind of numbers on their debut album. So yeah, MCR is serious business. So without further ado, let's kick off with Romance, which seems to just be an intro song. It's a minute long, there's no lyrics, so we'll see where we get going with this. So in theory, it's only 10 songs long, but we've got to say 11 for the sake of interludes and stuff. Sounds a bit like some Resident Evil safe room type music. Definitely designed to be one of those, them tracks where the curtains dropped and it goes whoosh. I'm actually a little bit more awake for this one than I have been for any of the other ones I've done. I think I feel good. I'm ready to rock and roll. Honey, this mirror isn't big enough for the two of us. Well, my left ear likes that. Okay. It's interesting to say the least. The progression of the instruments aren't what I'd expect. I think one of the things with this band that never got me was not only the lyrics, but just Gerard's voice as a whole. It's just not, I don't know, it doesn't have that punch that I'd expect. Now, I mean, to be fair, neither does, The Offspring. The vocals in those songs are very weird, but it's like this, I don't know, it feels like a very poor attempt at metal screaming while trying to keep it melodic, and it just doesn't work for me. But I'm willing to try. I'm trying. I think it's the way he sounds like he's trying to produce emotion, like sadness and crying in his vocal styles, that I just don't like. It's dare I use the word, it's cringe. Oh, hello. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I've not really got much of an opinion on it. It was something. Vampires Will Never Hurt You. Let's go. 5 minutes, good lord. That's long for a second track. I think one of the main reasons I got told I might enjoy this album as opposed to what their other stuff is because of the instrumentals. And if that first song is anything to go by, we're in for a rough one here. Okay, this is a bit better. It's more of a conventional kind of sound. That's interesting. See, that kind of sound is just—it's more like a traditional sort of rock, not like a breakdown. What are you doing? It's not like a breakdown, but it's a nice bridge kind of sound. Like a lot of rock songs use it as a bridge, and it's nice. I enjoy that sound. That's a nice sound. But again, it's just the biggest issue I'm having. Ow, my legs. The biggest issue that I'm having here is definitely just the vocals. The instrumental in this one's alright, but it's... I'm not... I don't catch the vibe with the way the vocals are portrayed. Like, yeah, I like my screaming and stuff, I get that, but like I said, I literally just listened to an album by Electric Light Orchestra, fucking Jeff Lynne, and I enjoyed the vocals in that album. They were great. This is a really weird whiny sound, and this is exactly why I've always been turned away from this band. Okay. Yeah, it's things like that draw me away from this band. You can tell why its audience at the time and still is mainly just teenage girls going through the emo phase. It doesn't work for me. I'm sorry. This kind of style doesn't work for me. I like a good emo whiny tune like I Hate Everything About You, but that's the way to do it. Make it sound raw and powerful, like you're putting everything into it, not whining. I don't like the whininess. Drowning Lessons, oh, I took them a while ago. Jokes aside, that is a nice intro riff, I like that. I'm okay. We're halfway through this one nearly, and I'm liking this one. This one's alright. Okay. Okay. I like this one. This one's good. I like this one. I don't know. There's something about it. The lyrics are a bit like... Obviously, like I say, it's a product of its time, but... The sound of the song as a whole, and the vocals are good this time. These are actually good, clean vocals. But the instrumental, it reminds me of something like Jun Sonoe would, you know, create in the studio. Nice little outro as well. You know what? I enjoyed that one. Fair enough. I enjoyed that one. That were a good song. And again, the lyrics are just like, like I said, product of its time and whatnot. What? That is the oddest outro ever. You could have left that part out, but okay. Yeah, like I said, lyrics are a product of the time and whatnot, and they're not directed at my audience. You know, I don't mind a sad song and, you know, the emo kind of lyrics and stuff. But like I say, on the metal scene, it's very different in how those lyrics come across. Now this one with the riff sounds a wee bit familiar. Okay, back. Yeah, now we're back into the cesspit of the shit that I don't enjoy. See, that worked. That was fine. See, this part's good. I like this part. This one got better as it went along. Wouldn't have expected that. Yeah, that one got better as it went along, but I don't know, it's just that first minute of the song that was, I don't know, didn't work for me. What happened to that really nice melodic riff? Okay. Oh no. This one shot itself in the foot massively. With the way it was starting, I was like, oh yeah, this one might be a decent one again, but no. I don't know how to feel about this Nicktoons Cartoon Network sounding instrumental. That's the vibes I'm getting from this one. It feels like, I don't know, man. This one's just not hitting me the way I was hoping it would have done with the intro, and I'm not vibing with it at all. Now into your sad 2000s lyrics. I didn't like that one at all. That one was fucking awful. Jesus. And again, listen to how this one is starting. This sounds like it's preparing us for something really cool, really epic in its sound. Something like somewhat cinematic. But I guarantee it's just gonna go into a nah 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 nah. It's not as bad as I thought it'd be. This one's excused. I think the biggest problem that I'm having so far with the album, My Chemical Romance in general, now that I'm thinking about it more, it's the way the rest of it lines up with the drum track. Because the guitar sounds great in a lot of places. I am liking this guitar a lot, the lead guitar especially. But pairing it with these lyrics and this sound of vocal isn't doing it for me. But of course, as well, the drum track will always influence how a song will sound, and is ultimately one of the main, if not the main instrument of a song, as it will give a song a completely different feeling. And I just think it's the sort of thrash drum sound that I'm not liking here. I think the main difference is, like, I don't mind thrashy drum songs. Let's not forget, I have just come from Architects, and a lot of their earlier songs were like very, very thrashy in the sound. But I think the main difference is when I compare it to one of my favourite songs, which has a very fast tempo, being The House of Wolves by Bring Me the Horizon. That song has a fucking amazing killer lead guitar riff, and it's present throughout a majority, if not all, of the song. The drums during the verses are very loud and fast and thrashy. However, it matches the intensity of the sound of the guitar, where it gives you this kind of a feeling like this is serious, this means business. And Ollie Sykes' vocals amplify that. When it gets to the bridges of the brick by brick by brick sections, they're like a slowdown before the guitar throws you straight back into the verse. Oh, sorry, the chorus, not the bridge. And obviously you go through all that, and then eventually you reach the breakdown, where the intensity is ramped up to 11 by both the guitars and the drums. And that continues, whereas with this kind of style of music, the drums are always just feeling like they're trying to keep the tempo of the song fast, and that's their only purpose. They don't really have any memorable feats going on with the drums. It's just the same sound to keep the tempo going. The lead guitars are good in places, but I think it's just the vibe that this band goes for. It doesn't hit me the same way, in that I'm not a fan of the whiny sound, and I'm not a fan of the bitching about this and that. I like an intense, sort of heavy song to get the adrenaline going. This, to me, doesn't give me any adrenaline because of the way it's coming across. It's not loud, spatial sounds coming off of an incredible kit with some fantastic riffs and vocals to pair up to create this like adrenaline junkie kind of beat. This is, it's different, and I can't explain it. Like I said, and as well, the intros to every song are so radically fucking different and stand out to the rest of the songs. The only one I've liked so far was Drowning Lessons, because its lead guitar carried on and the drums weren't criminally offensive to the point where they're fast and they sound like something out of a Metallica song. You know what I mean? the intros are so different to what the song will eventually sound like. If they, like this one will probably do it as well. It's got this really like 30 seconds to Mars kind of sound going on, with the kill. That's what that reminded me of straight away. But guarantee you, it's just going to go into the same sound. And if it does, again, massive shame because every song's the same. Thank God it didn't do the same thing. This is the slow song of the album. My God, I needed a break. Yeah. Okay. The vocals in this one are quite odd. The vibe of the song's just odd. It's nothing like the rest. The vocals are almost reminding me of, what's the band called? Is it like Sins of a Mother Divine? Something like that? Divine? Not heard many songs by them, but the songs I have heard, when it's a bit quiet, it reminds me of that. But the instrumental is any radio rock song, really. Yeah, boy, this one lost me a while ago. Again, I think it is the lyrics mainly that turn me away from a lot of these songs. It's just, it feels like you go one way. If you eventually get into the emo scene or the metal scene or just the hard rock scene, the one of the two. If you get into hard rock, it's because you was likely raised on it or you're interested in the sound of real instruments and not R&B, hip hop or whatever. And things like Guns N' Roses, right? But then if you're in your sad phase, you get into songs like this. But if you don't go down the sad path and you go down the angrier path instead, you go to songs more like 3 Days Grace, and then eventually you find heavy metal like Slipknot, which is what I did. But then I've noticed with a lot of people that go down the sad route, they go to My Chemical Romance and then a lot more similar bands. And I don't get it. I don't see it. Most of the songs sound the same. Not only from this band, but every other band. If you played me a song that sounded similar to this song playing right now, and there we go again with the thrash. You could play me a song from any band and ask me, which band sings this? If I had heard the band before, I could only identify it from the vocalist. If I hadn't heard any of these bands, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. They all sound the same. It feels to me like they've taken thrash and just put sort of a soft rock spin on it. Because there are some points that I genuinely listen to and I think, oh, that's a nice guitar riff, this sounds fine. But again, like I said, with the lyrics and the song progression, there's no necessary chorus in any of these songs. They just keep going and they keep going. That's not a rush of adrenaline. It's just not. It's just tiring. You get very bored of it very quickly. Yeah, again, that one. So I'm hearing this one now. It's a really nice sounding guitar in my left ear, but I guarantee you it's just not going to move the way I want it to. Oh my god, an actual song this time. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I got excited at first because I was like, oh, it's not the same sound, but it kind of is. It's just dialed down on the intensity a little bit. See, that sounds fine. It's a nice build-up. Rhythm in it sucks, man. The main rhythm of this song sucks. I know people are gonna like. Sorry, side. There's gonna be people that see this, right? And if people see this, but people see this and they get to this point, I'm gonna get fucking crucified over these like next 4 albums because holy shit, I'm gonna sound like a record on repeat. My Chemical Romance has such a die-hard defensive fan base that you can't shake. You say to them, I don't like MCR, and they're like, what do you mean that you don't like MCR? I'm not vibing. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And I've said it at the start, and I've said it now. It's just I don't like Gerard's style of singing. I don't like his vocal work. Like he has a nice voice. His clean vocals are fine. I don't have a problem with his clean vocals, but whenever he tries to pick it up a little bit, make it a little bit more like intense, put a bit of rasp on it or anything like that, it just falls apart for me. I think it just sounds really whiny, it's forced emotion, it sounds shit. And I think that's the only thing that really makes me struggle with my chem. I just can't understand the vocals. I'm on the last track already. This has gone quick, to be fair. 6 minutes though, Jesus Christ. But like I say, I will probably get frowned upon for a lot of my opinions on MCR. I have done in the past, and I probably will continue to be frowned upon. I don't like to hate things. I want to enjoy this because I really do. I enjoy some My Chemical Romance songs. Majority of them being from 3 Cheers, because like I say, songs like Helena, I think Helena's a great song. It's fantastic. That is how you do the emo sound, in my opinion. To me, that is sort of like the emo sound. It sounds great, but something like what I've heard throughout the entirety of this album, apart from maybe Drowning Lessons, is just don't like it. Hey. See, this sounds fine. I like the pulling of the strings on the guitar here, you know, the kicks and the snares on the drum sound fine. The vocals are handled really nicely here. This actually comes across portrayed in the way that everything else they tried to do comes across. They tried to come across as being like a sad, emotional state. Those last 4 lines of music made me think that. The rest of the song didn't. To try and come across as an emotional song is a difficult thing to do, because you really need to think about how you do it. But I think like some of my favourite examples of sad songs with energy, probably songs like, you know, to go back to Bring Me The Horizon, Drown and Doomed. Doomed is my favourite song by Bring Me The Horizon, probably my favourite song right now. My favourite song always changes. I don't think I will ever have a favourite song of all time. But Doomed has been my favourite song for the best part of the last like 6 months now. That to me is an emotional song done right. It sounds great. You know, you hear songs like Doomed and Drown, or even Can You Feel My Heart, for fuck's sake, the Giga Chad meme. When you actually deep it for what it is and you listen to it properly, I get emotional listening to those songs sometimes, especially because my state of mind relates to the lyrics. A lot of the times when I listen to songs, when I get home from a bad day, I'll just blast music as loud as I can to try and forget about things. But then you hear those certain lyrics, like I can't drown my demons, they know how to swim, and the way that section was handled, how it crescendos and the lyrics get more like raw and powerful. These aren't powerful sounds that these guys are producing. It feels very forced. And I think that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. Everything that this band is saying, doing, producing, that I'm listening to right now feels like very forced sound, and I don't like it. And thank God that's over. Yeah, I don't want to be a hater or anything, but I didn't really like any of these songs. Like Drowning Lessons was fine, but God above, that were a painful one to get through. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really vibing with any of that, and it's such an insane step up. 2 years later, they've come out with this, and I've not heard many of these songs, all right, but just look at the pure difference here. Nearly 500 million Nearly 500 million again. 100 million, nearly 200 million. I have heard a few of these songs. Not like I have now. They've just been on in the background, and I probably won't recognise them too much. But Elena and I'm Not Okay, I think are two very good, great emo songs. They're great for the genre. I think they're the pioneers of the genre. But then I've been played the Jet Set Live about 5 times now, and I've just never vibed with it. And I don't know why. I don't know. It's one of those, I think My Chem is a band that you need to understand to appreciate properly. And of course, as you can see, I don't understand the appeal behind this band. And if that changes by the end of this listen through, then fair enough. But as it stands, holy shit, I'm happy that one's over. I didn't vibe with that. I really did not vibe with that at all. It's just not my scene. I'm sorry, it's not my scene. Like I said, they have a loyal fan base, a religious fan base, but fuck me, I don't know if I'm ever going to be one of those. I think I'm just going to be a casual enjoyer of a handful of their songs, and that's all it'll ever come down to. But as far as that goes, yeah. I'm going to go listen to some good music now, and I'll see you when we cover 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. Just before I finish up, actually, I've come straight to this song because I was like, I need to listen to something I enjoy. I'm not going to show you that example that I said earlier about the fast drums and the guitar matching the aggression of everything. Just matches perfectly. If you notice, of course, the guitar has one powerful riff that continues throughout the entirety of this section. It doesn't change. The drums don't overuse cymbals and snares. It's a lovely combination to make a lovely beat out of mainly kicks, and it sounds fantastic. And of course, the vocals match the intensity of the rest of the track. But then you get to this section, and it's completely different to the rest of it. Now the drums take centre stage, as well as the piano or whatever the sample is in the background. The guitar takes a backseat so that you can get a louder sound out of a more, a vocal sound with more reverb, with piano that sounds like it's, coming with a bit of reverb itself. It sounds special. You listen to it, you close your eyes, it feels like it's like being projected in a loud hall, right? It's a different section that makes you go, oh, well, this is interesting. But when the song kicks itself back in, it's still roughly the same thing as before, but ever so slightly different, and it sounds great. And forward again, you get to the chorus, an actual chorus, and it goes back to that, that spatial, the whole sound again for the chorus. The guitar takes a back seat, the drums take a front step. Sounds good. And straight after the chorus, lovely interlude, straight back into the same sound again, but just to make sure it doesn't get repetitive. But when it gets to I'm Going Blind, the intensity of the vocals ramps, the guitar switches its tempo a little bit, and it just throws you back into the song really well. Again, the riff changes ever so slightly, and the vocals really get you going. Now, this is roughly the same, but I'm just going to go to the breakdown because I just want to listen to the breakdown. I adore the breakdown. And just before you get there as well, with that vocal sample being like, all fucked up like that, it's like it catches your interest and it slows itself down. Some incredibly well done vocals at this section to keep that intensity going, just thrust you straight into it. And as soon as it gets going, you can't help. You can't help it. It's great. What I'm trying to say is, it's a different kind of consistency. And I know this is a different genre, okay? This feels like a really strange example because it is a different genre. But this is, to me, the way to do consistency while keeping it different. Because like I said, with all those songs, the instrumental never changed apart from a brief 10-second switch up, and then it got back to the same. Whereas whenever this does a switch up, it's completely different from the actual song. When it comes back, it's ever so slightly different to keep it fresh and interesting. That breakdown will never not give me goosebumps just because of how it's just the aggression and the tempo matches everything else. It feels like the song's been accumulating to this point, and it sounds fantastic. Even the way the song closes out matches that same aggression. Everything just flows beautifully in this song. Like, shoot me. Like, Sempiternal is one of my favourite albums of all time. I love it to pieces. I loved it ever since I first heard it. And this song has always stuck out to me as one of the best, if not the best on the album. I adore it. It's fucking brilliant from start to end. It might not be the most iconic song on the album. Obviously, excluding Can You Feel My Heart, you want to go to a different sound. You go to Shadow Moses. Everyone knows that song. It was an emo/metal staple when the scenes merged. This one, I don't know. I think the House of Wolves is incredibly underappreciated. It's popular, but fuck me, I think it should be a lot more popular, but that's just me. I'll stop rambling about Bring Me Now, and I'm going to go listen to it in my own time because I don't want to step foot near that album that I just listened to ever again.